From the Dairy Girls, a show that needs no introduction. But there's a taster display that is going to open tomorrow at the Visitors Centre where you can go along and give feedback ahead of the launch of the wider exhibition. And delighted that Derry City and Strabane District Council Tourism Manager Margaret Edwards joins us now. So, Margaret, this isn't a full exhibition. It's a taster event, but people can go along and maybe get an idea of what to expect, and then you're looking for a bit of feedback. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we thought it would be a good idea to put it out there now so people get a chance to come along, get a flavour of obviously what the exhibition is going to really entail when we open in the summer, but really wanted to kind of whet people's appetite, I suppose, with something, a little taste of what was to come, and really use this as an opportunity, you say, to engage people around the whole idea of what the Dairy Girls experience could be and what we should really be looking towards. This is very much a pilot, I suppose, and trying to test the waters to see what the level of interest is in developing something then that would be much more of an experience.
And you say a Dairy Girls experience, and the plan is to make it that more than just an exhibition. There's going to be a bit of an interactive experience as well.
That's correct, yes. So we're very fortunate that we've been able to work along with Hat Trick Productions, so obviously the company who made the show, and they've given us access to all the various props and things that they used, obviously particularly in the last series. So we've got access to that, so we'll use some of that obviously in situ in the Tower Museum to kind of create that kind of physical space, but also adding to that then with the use of augmented reality. So whenever you come into the exhibition space in the Tower Museum, you'll see physical elements obviously to show you that perhaps you're in the Quinn kitchen, and you'll meet Ma Mary and her sister and Granda Joe, and then, but also within that space there'll be kind of virtual spaces as well. So we can actually then go into those spaces using an iPad, and you kind of click on various props, and that will then give you much more of an insightful experience once you're in that space digitally.
I can see this already being a huge hit for hen parties.
Indeed.
Tailor-made. But it's great to see the success of Dairy Girls, and already, without this exhibition, it's bringing people to the city, and they want to see some of the streets where the Dairy Girls, walked, and some of the sites and so on.
Absolutely. I think certainly the staff at Visit Dairy, where obviously the taster display will be tomorrow, would tell us they get a lot of people coming in, a lot of tourists coming, particularly for, not solely just for Dairy Girls, but they've been kind of prompted to come to the area because of watching Dairy Girls. Yeah. And we know some of the stats would show that over 2 million people around the world have watched Dairy Girls, between it being on Channel 4 and also, of course, on Netflix as well. So it's reached out to a very wide global audience, and then we'll try and capture some of that in the exhibition as well. And people come already to go and get their photograph taken at the mural there beside Foilside, just on beside the walls. And there are various things people can, you go and have an afternoon tea that's kind of themed to Dairy Girls. You can go on a walking tour that's kind of takes you around, as you said, some of the locations. So already there is something there that people can go and experience. So we're wanting to see then if we can really add to that with this exhibition.
Yeah. Well, it's all inevitable given the huge success of Dairy Girls, over 2 million people having seen it. And you talk about, murals and themed teas, and now the exhibition. It's all great because I suppose for visitors, you kind of have to give them what they want, and they're coming to Derry for so much more. But a lot of people will be drawn to the city now by Dairy Girls.
Absolutely. And I think evidence would show that those kind of shows do draw people in, the likes of people going to New York, maybe to visit the Friends experience, because obviously they've been captured by the show, or obviously people going to have some kind of Father Ted experience, on Craggy Island, whatever that might be. It was not a dedicated place there, but those shows definitely do capture people's imagination, and they do engender quite a lot of interest. I think it was towards the end of last year, Visit Dairy and their partners in Donegal, they ran a competition around Dairy Girls, and one of the prizes was to come to the city because of Dairy Girls, and that actually was won by somebody in America who's now coming now to the city, I think sometime over Easter, because they won that prize, so there's certainly a lot of interest around the world, and it definitely has something about I suppose just the content of the show, the slightly irreverent humour within it, the characters themselves. I think there's something there that people can really I suppose, latch into and really kind of associate with to some extent, especially those of us, of course, who are from Northern Ireland. It's very much about that whole experience of what it was like here in the 90s.
Yes.
And we also have, of course, the anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement coming up in April, and that was a big part of the last series, and we'll have that within this particular exhibition as well to kind of pick up on that particular anniversary.
But the whole tone of the show as well, Margaret, it would lend people to warming to the city and to the locations that feature in it. So tell me about the taster exhibition and then the full exhibition. When is it likely to open?
Well, as you said, the taster opens tomorrow in the Visitary Centre in Waterloo Place. And what that will be really is we're going to put a few of the items that we're going to have on display ultimately in the big exhibition in the Town Museum in Visitary. So outside you'll see a graphic saying, come and see, come on in, come on and hear the crack, as it were, and come inside. And the call to action is come in, have a look. We'll have a few items from some of the characters, some of the clothes that the characters wore, some of the clothes that Man Mary wore, a uniform from one of the characters. We'll have Erin's diary there as well. And we'll also have this polling box because we really want to kind of capture into that idea of what was happening towards the end of that series when they were all going in to vote to obviously on the Good Friday Agreement, because that's very particular now as we approach the anniversary. So we'll have a box as well with the original polling station sign from the show to try and encourage some people to give their feedback as to what they're seeing when they come into Visitary. So that'll be there until the end of June. Okay. And then we will open up the main exhibition, then we'll open at the start of July in the Town Museum. And that obviously will have more of the content.
And we'll take on board some of the comments that have been made as well that might determine then what's in the full exhibition.
We'll do our best, definitely, because obviously we'll work with what we have in terms of what is available to us from the from the show. But we really want to encourage people to give their feedback on the show and who maybe they identify with, if they identify within the characters themselves, perhaps that as one thing, and also maybe to allow a bit of time to give a brief reflection or even just comment on the Good Friday Agreement. We don't get into the heavy political analysis of what has happened over the last 25 years or how we're not. That's not what we're about, but we want to just recognise the fact that this was such a big part of the last series of Derry Girls, and we have all the electoral cards for each of the characters that were made, obviously for that particular scene, and we know it's a big part of how it ends. So we really wanted to ensure that we kind of got something in there that people could just say, something about that.
No spoilers, because I actually haven't seen that episode yet.
Oh, sorry.
But I actually haven't seen the episode yet, so I'm looking forward to it. But listen, good luck with the taster event and then the exhibition when it opens in full in July. Margaret, thanks for having a chat with us.
Thank you very much.